All right, let's dive into something pretty special today. Ghana International School's vision for their future. They've put together this case for support. And it's less like asking for money and more like a story.
Yeah, it really is. The thing that stood out to me was how much they focused on responsibility. They're already excelling, but now it's about sharing that and opening doors for students across Ghana and maybe even the whole world.
Okay, so for anyone who's new to this, we're talking about GIS. They started way back in 1955, and now they've got over 1,300 students, and they have great accreditations. But they're not stopping there, right?
Not at all. The document actually makes a great case for an endowment. They can't just rely on tuition if they want to make these big changes happen.
And you know what else really stood out to me? Was their alumni. They got some pretty impressive people. Doctors, diplomats, even a British cabinet minister.
It really shows how well-rounded a GIS education is, and it all ties into their plans for the future. Like they're saying, look at what's possible. Now imagine what we can do with even more.
I like that. And that brings us to creating access to learning. This isn't just about keeping up their own standards. It's about helping others too. Three main things here: learning fellowships, global partnerships, and pedagogical enrichment. That word "global" is pretty cool.
It is. It sums up what they're all about, bringing together the local and the global, because education can connect us across borders. But let's break that down a bit. Starting with learning fellowships, they give scholarships to students based on need and merit. This is where things get really inspiring.
Oh, for sure. The document talks about Ohaneman Nkrumah and Jennifer Onum. They were the first to get these fellowships.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible how determined they are, especially considering everything they've been through.
Ohama's story especially shows how committed GIS is to including everyone. Remember when he challenged that Akimoto school policy about dreadlocks? That started a really big conversation about being yourself and being accepted. And at GIS, he finally found a place where he could just be himself.
And Jennifer's story is amazing too. She had to leave school because of money. But now, thanks to the Learning Fellowship, she's not just doing well in school, she's a leader too.
Both of their stories really show what GIS means by understanding of each other. It's not just about giving students a chance, it's about making the whole school a richer place by bringing in different perspectives.
And it sounds like this is just the beginning. GIS has big plans to make the Learning Fellowship program even bigger. Makes you wonder how many other amazing students are out there, just waiting for a chance.
I know, it's exciting to think about. It shows how much of an impact these programs can have. We're not just talking about individual success here. We're talking about building a better world.
So we've talked about scholarships. Now let's zoom out and talk about global partnerships. The things they're doing are just incredible.
For sure. Locally, they're making a difference with the little Anglican schools. They've been working together for a long time, sharing what they know and helping to close the gap in educational opportunities.
But they're thinking globally too, with things like the Student Exchange Program with the Royal Bafokeng Nation in South Africa, and their Visiting International Educator Program.
And here's something interesting. They want to attract African American students to GIS, to give them a chance to connect with their roots while getting a world-class education.
So cool. Like they're saying, come learn about your heritage, see a new part of the world, and be a part of something special.
It really shows how they see education as a way to bridge cultures and help students become global citizens.
So we have scholarships, partnerships. What's the last piece of this?
That would be pedagogical enrichment. It's about how GIS is going above and beyond. They're not just focused on teaching their own students, they're trying to make teaching better all across Ghana.
This is where you can really see their love for education. They have the Time Educator Conference, where hundreds of teachers come together to learn. They even quoted a teacher who went, Don Francis. He said it was a lifeline for educators.
That's really something. And there's more. They've teamed up with PwC for special teacher training. And they have this great junior teacher program where new teachers get to spend 3 years at GIS. Imagine how much those teachers will learn.
I know, right?
Mm.
It's like they're creating a new generation of great teachers who will inspire so many students across Ghana.
It's about creating a cycle of excellence. And it all comes back to that idea of responsibility, using their success to make the world a better place.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to the question of money. How are they going to pay for all of this? That's where this case for support comes in.
You know, it's not your typical fundraising thing. It feels more like they're inviting you to join them.
Exactly. They want
Yeah.
anyone who believes in education to be a part of it.
And they're really clear about where the money's going. It all goes to those three things we talked about: learning fellowships, global partnerships, and pedagogical enrichment.
And they're not just throwing money at the problem. The document talks about how they'll manage the endowment so it'll last for a long time.
So it's not just a quick fix. It's about making a real difference for the future.
Exactly. They even have a goal for how much they want to raise. It's a lot, but I think they can do it. And they explain how different amounts can make a difference.
One thing that really stood out to me was planned giving. It's not just about giving money now. It's about people making GIS a part of their long-term plans.
It shows how much they believe in what GIS is doing. And for those who might need a little extra nudge, donations to the Ghana International School Foundation are tax deductible. So it's like helping a great cause and maybe saving some money on your taxes.
So you spent a lot of time with this document. What's the one thing that stands out the most to you? What should our listener take away from all of this?
Honestly, it's how ambitious they are, but also how much they care about doing the right thing. GIS could just keep doing what they're doing, but they want to do more. They want to help others succeed. It's about using what they have to make a real difference.
It really shows how powerful education can be.
And it makes you think, how can we all support these kinds of things? How can we help create a world where everyone has a chance?
That's a good question. Maybe it starts with telling others about GIS, sharing this episode, or talking to friends and family.
Even small things can make a difference.
Or if you can give money, that's great too.
And beyond that, we can look around our own communities. Are there places that need help? Can we volunteer or donate to them?
It's about taking responsibility.
Yes.
We can all do something to make the world a better place.
I agree. This deep dive has really shown me what GIS is all about. They're not just a school. They're a force for good.
It's inspiring.
And with this case for support, they're inviting everyone to join them.
I'm feeling pretty inspired too. This document isn't just about asking for money. It's about believing in the power of education.
I think that's a great way to put it.
As we wrap up this deep dive into GIS Case for Sport, I'm struck by how much more it is than just numbers and financials.
I know, right? It's more like a statement about how education can make the world a better place.
Exactly. And what really makes it come alive are those personal stories, like Jennifer's birthday with her boarding friends. You can just see how happy she is.
Oh, yeah. And that teacher, Don Francis, you could hear how passionate he was when he called the time conference a lifeline.
Those little things make all the difference. They turn this from just asking for money into something you really connect with.
Right. Like they're saying, come join us. We're doing great things.
I get that.
Yeah.
And it's not just feel-good stuff. They have real plans and goals, and they're open about everything.
They really break it down, how donations will be used, how the endowment will work. It makes you feel confident that they've thought it through.
So it's not just about the now. It's about the long term.
For sure.
So if someone's listening and thinking, this is great, but what can I actually do? What would you tell them?
Well, a few things. Just telling people about GIS is a great start. Sharing this episode, talking to friends and family, getting the word out there is really helpful.
And of course, if you can give money, that's amazing.
Every bit counts. But even beyond that, think about your own community. Are there places that need help with education? Could you volunteer or donate to them?
It's about looking around and seeing what you can do.
It all comes back to responsibility.
We can all be part of making things better.
Absolutely. This deep dive has been really inspiring for me. GIS is more than just a school. They're setting an example.
Yeah, it's really something.
They're showing how education can change lives, and they want everyone to be a part of it.
I feel really hopeful after learning about all of this. It shows what we can accomplish together.
I agree.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Ghana International School. We hope you learned a lot.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, we encourage you to learn more about GIS and see how you can get involved.
Remember, investing in education is investing in a better future for all.
That's a great way to end it. Thanks again for listening.